What is up, Gallantmon gamers? You already know what it is. We are coping once again with Gallantmon in BT12, seeing if it's actually any good into arguably one of the stronger decks in the format is going to be Beelzemon. Now, obviously, before Beelzemon was meta, this matchup was pretty one-sided. Like, Beelzemon pretty much never was able to beat Gallantmon because they didn't really have a lot of strong plays, a lot of aggro plays. Didn't get value off their mills. Gallantmon just punished them as soon as they went to 10 and trash. Now things have changed. Gallantmon a little bit slower, a little bit less consistent, a little bit less RNG. Like, you know, Beelzemon's very reliant on the mills. So we'll see what happens. But regardless, we are going to go ahead and just set up here with a Warp Guillemon in the back. Searcher Guillemon plus Guillemon X is going to pop our opponent's Hitmon, which is going to set off a chain of reactions to mill a bunch of cards and whatnot. And then we're just going to finally end things off playing the new Tocado via our Growlmon on Digivolve effect. Now, Wizardmon is going to come down Wizardmon X for a cost of 2, being able to mill 2, milling, I think, a promo Wizardmon and some other stuff. And then Ballmon, a BT10 Ballmon, pretty cool. I like that he mills on attack, so you can basically get it multiple times if you need to. And then he also does float into Beelzemon. So Tocado is going to set us to 3. Nice memory tamer. Also has the biomerge effect, which is really cool, and unfortunately it's kind of hard to get off. Or at least you need to draw Gallantmons, which is clearly what I cannot do. We're going to go Cool Boy. I'm testing this out in the deck just because I think the engine is obviously still really broken, but you don't really need it, I don't think. You don't really run that many X to anybody, Digimon or cards or anything. So we're just going to go War Growlmon. He does have his boost, like the threshold boosted to 6,000, but still not going to be enough to delete the Ballmon. So then you can trigger the effect where you could then Digivolve into a Gallantmon if I had one. But we'll see that a little bit later on. So our opponent is going to swing here, milling Godlike, being able to get 2 Warring Shots, or Rival's Barrage rather, as well as Deathslinger and Wizardmon off the mills, going back up to 3. Pretty crazy. And they're going to go EX2 Beelzemon, being able to then mill 2 more on Evolve. And then, you know, being able to delete a level 3, but for each 10 cards it scales up. So luckily for me, does not have 20. Being able to dodge that effect is pretty huge, I think. But regardless, I do also like the fact that I have kind of a built-in counter. If my opponent goes into Beelzemon, I do have the Warp Guillemon, and if you pair that with something like the Blitz Tocado, it's really, really strong. So our opponent is going to think about playing an Itmon, but rather just going to go Wizardmon in the back. I'm starting with 3 anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. So I think here what we can do is give our opponent the effect of on deletion lose a memory with the War Growlax. And then again being able to delete, I think, a 8,000 or lower or something with the effect. But of course Beelzemon is sitting at 11k, cycling some more with Cool Boy, but still not enough to be able to do anything. I also should be at 1 memory here. I don't think I gain off the Cool Boy, so that might be a little bit relevant. Apologize for that, but we're going to put our opponent at 2-3, should be at 2, and then we're going to finally hit a Gallantmon in the form of the Raid BT12 Gallantmon. So that's really cool stuff here. The unfortunate thing is the fact now my field is kind of just open for him to do whatever with, but I do have the Warp Guillemon, so I'm not really worried about it. Now we're going to go ahead and attack, and then milling 2, and then deleting the rookie off of the Itmon inherited, and then Beelzemon Blast Mode as well as the EX2 Itmon are milled at the same time, so you can choose resolution. So he's going to choose Itmon first, milling 3 more, then Beelzemon, which now that there's more than 20, it kills a 5 or lower. So then being able to kill the War Growlmon and go on up to 5 memory, I would say is pretty crazy. Not even close to being done yet, because for just 1 memory, you can trash 2 of your opponent's security. That is just absolutely not fair. And look at that, my opponent killed me from 4 security. That's pretty insane, guys. I think the speed of Beelzemon is like actually ridiculous, and just the value you can get off of basically paying nothing, just evolving your Digimon, getting free mills is pretty crazy. Even off something like this, like you know, Itmon plus memory boost for like 2, and then you're gaining back the 2 memory anyways, is pretty crazy. Putting me to 2 is pretty nice, and then I can just go ahead and play the Tocado, Blitz Tocado for 3. Now, I probably should have played the the Memory Tamer Tocado, but I think I thought that the BT12 Growlmon just played a Tocado for free, but it says if you don't have Tocado and play a Tocado for free. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, I can just play the 3 cost and then play the 4 cost for free later, but that's not how it works, guys, so be sure to read your cards. So now we're going to go ahead and just evolve into the Growlmon and then Growlmon X, and then go into the War Growlmon, being able to delete something with 5-6k or lower. Actually, no, just 5k, because just the plus 1000 from the Growlmon X. Being able to delete the Impmon and then gaining a memory off the Tocado to continue my turn is pretty cool. And then now we can go into the Gallantmon, giving our Gallantmon once again Blitz, Raid, when Digivolving pop something. So when Digivolving pop is 6k, but it's a 7k, so then he gets to do that. So then now, since we're attacking, we can trigger the on attack effect, but since there is no Digimon to delete with that effect, we will actually trash one more. So I think we're going to catch it in a second, but we should actually trash one, and then he checks one, and then I gain 2 memory off of that whole interaction. So our opponent is just going to go Impmon, Wizard promo, and then gonna go ahead and pass it over to me. I'm going to go ahead and Digivolve Warp Beelzemon. Once again, really, really powerful. And here's me just rereading the effect. Then what we can do is stick X Antibody underneath, swinging into security, drawing a card, trashing another security off of the Gallantmon since there's nothing to delete, and then going to go ahead and go into Gallantmon X for a cost of 1, deleting something, but if there's nothing to delete, being able to unsuspend. Also sitting at plus 4,000. We finally have good DP boosting inherited. I love it. I always hated that my Gallant stacks were like 11k base. It was so bad, man. And then now just going to be able to attack again, gaining 2 memory as well is pretty crazy. Also wish I had an Omni X here to be able to close out the game, but that's okay. We're going to stick Tocado there to be able to go into a Biomerge play if our opponent does out our stack, because then we can just stick a Growlmon Gallant underneath, or Growlmon War Growl underneath, and then go into Gallant from the hand. It gets Blitz and all these other effects, so pretty cool stuff. And then our opponent is just going to go ahead and move out Wizardmon X to give blocker, Ballmon to mill 3, and then on delete it plays a Beelzemon when it dies until the end of the next turn, like it gains that effect, so it follows the stack, of course. And what he could do is maybe go into something like a Starter Deck Beelzemon, but we're just going to go ahead and swing first, trashing 2 off of the egg, trashing 2 more off of the Wizard X, or rather first using the regular Wizard to stack the Beelzemon, and then Beelzemon being able to play out an Impmon. The Warp Impmon from the Starter Deck is going to come down, hitting security, living off of the 2000 Guillemon check. And he needs to do something, because otherwise he just dies next turn, because he's sitting at 0 security. And he's just going to pass with the missed memory boost, not really able to do too much here, and I'm just going to go ahead and swing quite aggressively to end off that game. So game number 3 here, our opponent is going to start with the Imako, revealing 4, bottom decking double Beelzemon is pretty unfortunate, but we did get the Impmon, so that's definitely what matters. And here, once again, with the Warp Impmon, going to play Tocado, or Guillemon, the Tocado Searcher, being able to then grab the Blitz Tocado from those revealed cards, and then going to go straight into the new Growlmon to be able to just play the Tocado from hand. So really, really cool stuff. I love the support that we've gotten in BT12. Doesn't make the deck competitive. I'd say it has the potential, but I don't think it's like a top tier deck. But it's definitely the best support we've gotten so far. Better than the starter deck or anything like that. So our opponent here is going to set up with a lot of option cards. And then going to go ahead and just go Wizardmon in the back. I think now he's being a little bit cautious, just because you know that Gallantmon is able to clear boards so efficiently. And if you haphazardly leave things on the field, I'm going to be able to plus from it, trashing security, gaining memory, all that sort of thing. So we're just going to go red memory boost, putting our opponent to 1. Again, just chilling with the back, in the back with the Warp Guillemon here, I think is really cool. Having a play that just immediately punishes your opponent for going into their win conditions is really sick. Like, as soon as they go into a Mega, you just pull that bad boy out. Okay, slap a Gallantmon, I have Blitz, I can attack, raid, switch target, trash security, kill something. Like, there's so much you can do. So we're just going to go ahead and put a little bit of pressure on him, hitting an Imako, revealing 4, being able to add, I think it's like a Wizard, Evil, Demon Lord, any one of the cards to the hand. So we're going to go ahead and search the Impmon there. And after this, I think I probably just like play another Tocado, maybe play Search or something. I don't have level 5 here, but I guess it doesn't really matter that much. And I think my opponent here just looking at what he's bottom decking, and I'm just going to play the EX2 Gallantmon to pass the turn, just grabbing the Growlmon. Once again, not really seeing any of my level 5s, but the fact that you can warp makes it a little bit like okay to be able to get away with that. But finally do see the War Growlmon X. Don't think I'll need it. At least because of the fact that I do have the Warpmon. So we're just going to see Balmon being able to Digivolve. And then first using the Imako to stack 2 cards here. Putting double Deathslinger, I believe, to then gain 2 memory off the Imako. And then milling 3 off of the Balmon effect to then gain 2 more memory. And then the EX2 Beelzemon effect to then play an Impmon, and then the Impmon's effect to then search a Beelzemon or another Imako, I think, but usually most decks don't really play more than 2 or 3. But regardless, you guys see the abilities of this deck to just generate advantage from nothing. Obviously, it's really RNG, and you can't really count on anything to... I mean, it's controlled luck, right? But regardless, opponent is going to swing here, trashing 2 off of the effect of the Yammon, and then milling the Beelzemon Blast Mode, they're not being able to delete anything, and then Impmon once again being able to be played out via the effect of the EX2 Beelzemon, and of course that can trigger the on-play if we so choose to. Not going to use it, instead just going to swing into the Growlmon X Antibody there, and then using Rival's Barrage to be able to add back the Beelzemon, and then just going to go ahead and Digivolve into it. Why not? We can go ahead and mill 2 more, and then if we're at 10 cards in trash, we can then delete the Growlmon, and clearing the board here is really, really nice. But of course, you still got the Gallantmon in the back to deal with, and I'm fine cracking this board. Like this is not difficult for me to deal with. I'm gonna go Wizardmon just to put me to 2. That's fine. I can go ahead and go to 4 with the memory boost. And even if I didn't, like I've got Blitz, but not being able to pass turns is even better, especially with that top deck. So you guys are gonna see. So first of all, on Digivolve, we can use the Gallantmon's effect to kill a 6k or lower. So we can go ahead and delete the Wizard stack, gaining a memory off Tocado, and then drawing a card off of the Gallantmon. Then we can stick X Antibody underneath and go ahead and swing into a security probably. And then going to go ahead and utilize the effect to then delete a 6k or lower, being able to delete the Impmon, and then going to go ahead and use the X Antibodies effect to Digivolve it into a Digimon with X Antibody. Unfortunately, no ability to trash security here, but that's okay because Gallantmon X does have that ability. Now we delete something with the lowest play cost. The Beelzemon is going to die, and then the top card of my opponent's security is going to be trashed. But the Balmon effect was lingering on top of the Beelzemon, so another Beelzemon is going to be played from the trash. Which is a little bit annoying, but here I think I'm just going to go ahead and clear it out with a Crimson mode because I don't really want to take the chance that he goes into a Blast mode, swings over me, or even just uses his effect to somehow get enough in trash. I think he would need 30 in trash, but regardless, going to go Crimson mode here. Put him into 6, which definitely is quite a lot, but if he doesn't have this Crimson mode, I've got lethal next turn because Crimson mode does trash an inherent security on swing, and then for every 10 in trash, which I think he has 20 at this point, it would trash 3 security cards basically. So really, I mean, this card was designed to counter a deck like Beelzemon, right? So really cool stuff. And then I was also trying to play around Deathslinger a little bit, because if he had Deathslinger, it does scale up from level 4, so I think with 20 in trash you'd be able to kill level 6, but not a level 7, so Crimson mode is safe, and he didn't have the Rival's Barrage here, so we can go ahead and just swing Crimson mode and burn him for a game. So guys, that's going to do for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.